Hey guys, Bix Weir, roadtoruta.com. Got outside, been sick for a couple days. Thank you for the well wishes and all the hints and tips on how to get better. I'm feeling much better. Don't know which one did it, but I took a little of everything. So it's a good day. And in California, it is sunny and hot. A couple days ago, it was cold and rainy. I know Cliff High is raining still up in Seattle. So sorry, Cliff. We got all the sun today. It'll change, I'm sure, but for right now, northwest is really getting it, the rain, and California, mid-California, where I am, Northern California, is nice and sunny. So the plants are going to sprout and grow and flower, and then the rain will come and knock all the buds off and have to start again. Who knows what's going on this summer? But on that note, I did want to talk about chemtrails, and I told you guys that last weekend I was in Vegas and we were getting chemtrails every day. I didn't tell you I took a couple pictures. They all look like chemtrails except for one, which was actually a picture my wife took. And it just sums it up so perfectly I had to show everybody. This is a picture my wife took while we were in Vegas sitting by the pool. Now, explain to me how one jet has nothing coming out the back, one has two streams and one has one. Is that proof or what that something else is going on? Unless this jet down here has a different kind of fuel. Is a propeller jet? Does that look like a propeller plane to you? No, it's way up there. It's crazy. You can even see the jet engines if you look close enough. It's got engines there. So apparently this jet is running on some kind of propulsion that these two don't know how to use or don't have, or whatever you want to call it. The deniers of chemtrails. It doesn't matter what you say, they're still going to deny it. Deny. And, oh well, you know, not everybody wakes up at the same speed. So on that point, the next obvious question is, why are they spraying us? What is it doing to us? Are they trying to kill us? Are they trying to mess with our heads? Are they just trying to make us sick so they make money off the health insurance and curing our illnesses? Are they trying to save the planet? Are they trying to get rid of global warming? It could be 1,000 different things. I did find a report that makes sense to me. It gets a little into the woo-woo world, as Cliff calls it. But it's really interesting. It's parts are scientific and parts are based off some military work done in the 60s. And it was on my website, roadtoruta.com. So go to roadtoruta.com, and on the left side there's a bunch of tabs. And one of those tabs is called Resources. And this is what it looks like when you get to that Resources tab. It says Educational Resources. And the paper about chemtrails is the very top one. It's called Geoengineering, Chemtrails, HARP, World Orders, Timelines, and Ascension. So you get a little bit of everything right there. Again, so you go to the Road to Ruta website. On the left side, a few tabs down, you're going to see a tab called Resources. And you go there, and it's about 12 pages. It's really cool. If you read it and you understand it, most of these chemtrails are probably trying to protect us from the sun's rays that are changing, and the sun's going through all kinds of birthing pangs, shall we say. A normal cycle for the sun, but not normal for living things here on Earth. So there's all kinds of problems that are developing, both because we're trying to stop the natural occurrence of the expansion of the sun and the changing of the sun. But also we're not letting the Earth go back far enough in our spiral rotation as the sun goes through the Milky Way. Read this. It's really interesting. And even some of the things that I had originally thought about the sun expansion are explained differently in that report. And the report's really cool. And it gets into some physics and some deep stuff. I don't know if Cliff has read it. I don't know if he'd agree with it. I know he agrees with the general thing about the general understanding of what's happening to our sun, and it's growing as it goes through a more dense part of the Milky Way. Really cool stuff. But today is Friday, And because I have so many really nice Road to Ruta followers and all these new people on YouTube that are just awesome, and all you guys who fight the trolls in the comments section, thank you. Keep up the fight. I don't have the time, energy, and truthfully, it's sapping of my energy, and I need to focus in more positive areas. So I used to fight them all the time. I used to not allow comments even. I got tired of it. But I've decided to, let the comments fly, and if you guys want to fight that fight, get in there. It's fun at times. If you got a few hours to spare, just go in there, and because a lot of these people are paid for by the banksters, by the government, by the CIA, and their job is to throw a monkey wrench into everything we talk about. So if you feel like fighting them, but as a customer appreciation day at the Road to Ruta, I am giving away to you a copy of my book, Silver, Gold, Bitcoin, and God. If you signed up at Road to Ruta on the website, you already got a copy of this. But if you are just YouTube people, you now can download a PDF link of Silver, Gold, Bitcoin, and God, my first book. And it's a really cool book. This is just the first couple pages of it. It's like 132 pages. It's written in the Conversations with God format. So I'll be asking questions here. I'll show you the first page and how it is done. So that is the first page. And it starts off with me saying, "Is anybody there?" And God says, "Yes, I am here." And I say, "Hi, God. How do I do this? I read the books about having conversations with God, but I don't want to sound like I'm anyone special." And God says, "But you are special." And it goes on and on. As far as what topics are covered, somebody had asked me that the other day. Let me read off just a couple of the chapters, if I can find the chapter page in here somewhere. Oh, it's on the back of the one I just threw away, I think. Nope, here it is. All right, chapter 1 is my first conversation. It's basically getting my feet wet in this whole concept of speaking to something or someone in your inner self. And I don't separate God as something else. I think everything is one, the law of one, and all that. True believer. So it is myself talking to myself. But myself is giving me very clear answers, much more clear about gold and silver manipulation and other things than I've ever had before. So there's something about the process that brings out clarity in what I'm saying. You'll see when you read it. So the first chapter is about conversations and the rigging of gold and silver. Chapter 2 is Ruta's plan. What is the Road to Ruta about? And talking to God about what Road to Ruta is. Is it real? Is it not real? The third one is Shall We Continue? Goes more into depth. A New Twist. Aren't we there yet? A lot of the people who follow my work are like, this crash should have happened a long time ago. And if there's so many good guys out there, why haven't they ended this game and things like that? They've tried. These bad guys are hard to take out. Almost impossible, but I don't think impossible. I think we're in the process of taking them out now. A lot of the older leaders, the Rothschilds and the Soroses will soon go, and the Bush seniors and probably Bush Jr. and here Clinton, Bill Clinton's on his deathbed. I hear Hillary's already passed away. They're just not telling anybody. So a lot of the leaders are passing away, leaving the minions to kind of flounder. So there's a real void going on at the upper echelon of the bad guys, and it's the perfect time. It's time to take them out. It's time to get rid of them. So that's what's happening. Other things, I talk about Bitcoin in here, which is interesting. God's take on Bitcoin. The good guys and the bad guys. Are there really good guys and bad guys? If there are, who are they? And I go into some detail of some of the bad guys and some of the good guys. And this was written in, I think it was 2015. So it's about 2 years old, but a lot of this stuff is absolutely relevant for today. And then it goes into, there's a great chapter 10, on the DTCC, the Depository Clearing and Trust Corporation, the place that is supposed to keep track of all the stocks and bonds and swaps and derivatives, all the contracts, all the exchange of titles, all the exchange of money. Does it actually happen or does it not happen? It does not happen, as you're clued at the end of that chapter. But it goes deeply into that, and then talks a lot about secret gold all around the world. And it's one of those revelations that's going to come out as the bad guys are taken down. Is the amount of gold in the world, the amount of silver in the world, or the lack of silver in the world, the amount of oil hidden in the United States. Pastor Lindsey Williams has talked a long time about all the hidden oil up in Alaska. It could enough for the United States to use for 200, 300 years, even if we need it. I don't think we're going to need it, because as these bad guys are taken out, new technologies are going to be released to mankind. New energy technologies will lead to new forms of transportation. Awesome stuff. Amazing stuff if we can get from here to there. And that's the hard part. And that's the part that they're working on. They're trying to get there. It's difficult. They're trying to do it to get there with the least amount of disruption as possible. I don't think that would be possible. A lot of the good guys are saying the same thing, but Trump and some of his guys are saying, yeah, we can make this an easier transition. But I think Trump is learning now that the easy transition is impossible. And all it does is give the bad guys more room to get their hooks into the whole system. So we don't want them to take back power, and they're not going to take back power. So at some point, the Band-Aid has to be pulled. And we're getting to that time. I mean, the hot spots are, within the next few weeks, and then again, August, September timeframe. But the next few weeks, it could really start that ball rolling. And a lot of things coming up next week. The debt ceiling, and supposedly in the conspiracy world, I talk about this in the Friday road trip. A lot of the United States corporation and things like that. If you've studied that stuff, will be taken down and replaced with an old form of governance in the United States, going back to constitutional, which should be great. Wouldn't it be great to have a country that followed the Constitution? That would be wonderful. We don't know what it's like. We have no idea. And it's going to be a hard transition back to that. But it's something we need to do. People need to take responsibility for themselves, not rely on the government for everything. Because relying on the government is giving up your power and your free will. You don't want to do that. You want to rely on yourself. Yourself, your friends and family, and work together in your community. Limited federal government power was the idea from the very beginning. And now 35 million people work directly or indirectly for the federal government. That's got to end. And when it does end, with the crashing of the banks, there'll be no more debt. And everybody's like, well, what do? You have to reallocate money. Alan Greenspan talked about that. The Road to Ruta comic books talk about that. Do I think there should be a basic living wage? Yeah. Free money at a certain basis for everybody to start with. Why not? And there are quite a few studies that show that a basic living wage of free money is actually very good for society. And remember, when this thing falls apart, we're starting over. We're starting fresh. And you don't want to start with the ultra rich, the guys who bought Bitcoin early, or the guys who bought gold and silver early, having all the power. You want at least a minimal living standard, and it would be good for humanity. And then those who want to strive for greatness in their areas can do that, and earn more money if they're trying to earn money, or more recognition if they want recognition. But a basic living wage would work in a non-debt based society, because we do get to start again. All our debt will be gone. Our debt is owned by the banks now, and they're all electronic blips, which is a good move by Greenspan, because it's very easy to make electronic money and electronic debt money especially go away. It's a click of a mouse. So we'll see how it goes, but there's your Friday talk. And don't forget to click on the PDF link below for the book as your Friday afternoon treat. And you guys be safe out there. Have a good weekend. We'll see you next week.